Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vance. In our last tutorial, I taught the drafting of this Bustier blouse with a yoke. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching how to sew them together. And I paired it up with this trouser that has a front zip. So guys, if you're interested in this tutorial, let's get right into it. So this is my pattern. I've gone ahead to cut my fabric. I've gone ahead also to put my paper stay to my lining, and then I put haste stay to the main fabric just so it's going to be firm. And I think you should do the same thing for yours too. So this was me separating them, so you're going to see how it looks like when I separated them. I want to cut the breast pad for it. So this is the breast pad that I'll be using. This is a medium breast pad. So I'm going to place my center front on the breast pad just like the way you see me doing, and I'll go ahead and cut it out. So when I was done with the center front, I'm going to do the same thing for the side front. So this was it when I was cutting the side front. So I placed the fabric on the breast pad and then I went ahead to cut. If you do not know how to cut or measure your breast pad, I have a tutorial in my channel where I explained how to measure your breast pad and the right width to use for your breast pad. So I'm going to link it up in my bio so you're going to see how I did it. So I'll go ahead and iron it out, and then I'm going to show you how it looks like when I'm done ironing. So this is my back piece, guys. I've also gone ahead to interface my fabric, my main fabric and my lining piece. So I'm here removing the pins from my lining, from my main fabric and the lining piece. So this is how I'm going to be placing it, right side facing right side. And then I'll do the same thing for the lining, and I'll show you how it looks. I'll sew it down like by a ½ inch, and I'll show you how it looks when I'm done. So guys, this was the breast pad when I was done ironing. As you can see, this is the breast pad. So I'm going to go ahead and place my side front on my center front just like this, and then I'll go ahead and sew it. For those who do not know, I'm going to just pin it down for more understanding. You can go ahead and pin it down if you're a newbie, but if you're not, you don't have to pin down. You can just go ahead and sew. But for me, I like pinning down because it gives me the stability when I pin. So I'll just go ahead and pin this part down, and I'm going to show you how it looks like and how to sew it down. So this was it when I was done pinning, and I've turned it to show you how it's going to look like when you're done. So you're going to take it to your sewing machine. I'll take it to my sewing machine rather. I'll go and sew it. So I'll place the other side front on the center front, and I'm going to sew it down. So this was when I was done sewing, guys. As you can see, the cup is cupping already. I've gone ahead to notch. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and iron it out. So this is my lining also. I've also gone ahead to sew my lining piece down, and then this is my back piece. I've also gone ahead to sew down my back piece. As you can see, I've sewn the main fabric and I've also sewn the lining piece. So what I'm going to do next is to iron and then place my lining right side facing right side, and I'll head off to the sewing machine to sew it down. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up this part that I sewed to iron it properly, and then that'll be it. So guys, this was the breast pad when I was done ironing. As you can see, it's so good, it's so clean. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my boning to this blouse. It's actually optional, but because of the thumbnail what we are working on, they actually added boning at the front, so I'll go ahead and add my boning. So this is how I'm going to add my boning. Just watch carefully how I'm cutting out the boning. So I'm going to sew it down when I'm done cutting. So when I'm done, guys, I'll go and sew it and show you how it looks. So this is my back piece, guys. I haven't added the lining yet. I just wanted to show you how it looks like when I was done ironing. I had to notch so it can lay flat on the fabric. So this was it too. I'm done ironing. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew my lining, rather right side facing right side. I'll sew the neck part, the zip part, the down part of the blouse, and then the side of our blouse or our back block. So I'll go ahead and sew it down. So this is the front block, guys. I've gone ahead to add my boning. As you can see, I use masking tape at the tip of the boning so that it's not going to pierce my client, and I also use masking tape for the down part of the boning too. So this is the lace I'm going to be using, the chantilly lace. This is actually more than 1 yard because I bought it plenty, so you can use 1 yard for yours. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my blouse like this into 2 so I can cut out my yoke. So this is what I did. I folded my blouse into 2. That's my front block. I folded it into 2. So what I'm going to do next is I'll take my tape to measure where the yoke is going to start from. So from my shoulder line, I came down by 6.5 inches. You can do more than that if you want. Then for my center front, I just came down by 7.5 inches. So I marked it there, and then I'm going to connect the points that I made together just to get my yoke. So when I'm done, guys, I'll go ahead and cut out. So I'm cutting out the marks that I made just to get my yoke. And I think you should do the same thing too. This is one of the ways to get your yoke, mostly if you're drafting for a princess dart. But if you're drafting for other darts, I don't think you can use this method. But for me, this method is the easiest I can use for a princess dart. So I'll go ahead and fold my lace fabric into 2 to cut out the yoke. So I'm trying to check the part that is stretchy, but both sides are stretchy, so I can use any part that I want. If your lace is stretchy at one end and not stretchy at the other end, I think you should use the part that is not stretchy at the other end as your length, while the part that is stretchy, you can use it for your width. So I'll go ahead, after placing it, I'll go ahead and cut out my yoke. So this was it. When I was cutting, I came down from the length part, that's the longer part of the yoke, by 1/2 inch, while on the neck part I didn't add any 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead and add my bias. These are yoke. I'll add my bias around the neck, and then I'm going to show you how it looks like when I'm done. But before then, I'll also introduce my lining piece, and then I'm going to place the yoke on the lining piece just to cut it, because I'll be turning this lining on the main fabric. So I placed my yoke like this on the lining, and then I'll go ahead and cut. I think you should do the same thing for yours too. Place your yoke on your lining and cut exactly this shape that you have already. So guys, I'm going to set it aside, and then I'll open up my front block, and then I'll place the yoke. Are you seeing? This is how I'm going to place my yoke. Blouse is already coming out very well. So as you can see, I'm going to place the yoke like this, right side facing right side on the blouse, and then I'll go ahead and sew it down to my main block, and I'm going to show you how it looks. So this was when I was done sewing it to my block, to my blouse. As you can see, it's looking clean, it's looking neat. So I went ahead to trim out the excess part from the yoke, and then I'll go ahead and introduce my lining when I'm done with this part. So this is my lining piece, guys. I'm going to flip the yoke to the main fabric just like this. I'm flipping the yoke under, and then I'll place the lining on it after I was done flipping my yoke to the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and pin my yoke together with the fabric, that's with the main fabric. So this was me pinning down. I think you should do the same. This part can be a little bit tough because the yoke has like a princess cut, like a sweetheart rather. It has a sweetheart cut. It can be a little tough, but just pin down carefully, and then it will not have to stress you. So I'm still pinning down so that I can easily sew it down to my main block or my front block. So I'll still pinning, and then I'll go ahead and sew it by 1/2 inch, and I'll sew the down part also by 1/2 inch like this. I'll sew the side by 1/2 inch, and then I'll show you how it looks like. So this was it, guys, when I was done sewing. As you can see, it's looking so fine. It's looking so fine. So this is the back. I've gone ahead to add my zip. Sorry, I didn't show you that part. So I'll go ahead and take my shape, her bust divided by 4, her waist divided by 4, and then her hip divided by 4. I use the hip. I'll mark it down, and then I'll connect it. I'll do the same thing to the other side. So her bust, my client bust divided by 4. I'm going to go ahead and mark it. Her waist divided by 4. I'll also go ahead and mark it, and her hip divided by 4. I'll mark it there, and I'll connect the points together. So when I'm done, guys, I'm going to introduce my front block to it. So this is my front block. I'll go ahead and match my shoulder to shoulder together, just the way you see me doing. I'm going to go ahead and pin them down just like this, and then I'm going to flip over and sew it down by 1/2 inch. Are you seeing? Sew it down by 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing for this part. I'll flip over and I'll sew down by 1/2 inch. I'll show you how it looks like. So this was it when I was done joining my back block and my front block together, guys. Oh god, I love the fitting of this blouse on my client. So I'll go ahead and introduce my sleeve. I cut my sleeve outside of the camera or off the camera. So I'll go ahead and fix my sleeve, and we are done with this tutorial. So guys, please do well to subscribe to my channel, like my video, guys. You can leave a comment in the comment section if you have any question for me. And this was it when I wore my white on my mannequin. So guys, thank you for watching my video to the end. I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.